Good morning, everybody. My name is Sarah. It's a beautiful day outside today. It is, I think, 52 degrees right now. It's going to get up to about 55, so I'm going to leave for a nice long ride in about an hour. The downside is it's 22 mile per hour winds, so I'm trying to find a route for myself that I can kind of shelter myself from the wind because I do not want to squander such a beautiful day. I'm planning on doing a long ride today, so I'm going to go through some of the stuff that I do to prepare and pack up for a long ride. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a little bit of lunch before I leave. I talked about not being very good at eating on the bike. Now this is going to be a longer ride. It's a little easier for me to eat on the bike, but sometimes it's just not convenient, or you're in an area where it's tough to wrestle things out of your pocket or get those things done. So what I start with for a long ride is I'm going to eat something that is a little bit more protein based and a little bit less carb and sugar based. Now there are carbs represented in here. This is just kind of like a farro with some peppers. There's a little bit of tofu in there for the protein. There is broccoli, beans, also with protein, and it's going to be a little bit slower burning of a fuel. So I'm going to eat this about an hour and 15 minutes before I take off. Let it pretty much initiate the digestion process, and this will be kind of a slow burning fuel that will take me for the first few hours of my ride. It's really windy outside today. Those gusts are beating the shit out of those trees, but it seems like when the gusts die down, it's actually not so bad. So I'm gonna kind of head in the direction of the headwind to start, and I think I'm gonna actually do a route that has a lot of bike path to it, because the bike path actually kind of you're in between areas and structures and trees and things that protect you from the wind for a good portion of the ride. Probably be mostly flat. Probably going to be slower speeds, given that the wind is still going to kind of fight against me for half of the ride. But it's okay because it's almost 55 degrees outside, and I'm not riding in here, and I don't know, I just don't feel like cross-training. I thought about maybe going for a hike or a trail run or something like that, but I just really want to get outside on my bike to kind of break up the monotony of the indoor trainer. Alright, so for emergency supplies, I'm going to bring 3 tubes. I normally would only bring 1 or 2, but considering the state of our roads right now with potholes after the winter, and the fact that it's going to be a longer ride, and most of my friends and families around are kind of busy or at work, and I don't have an emergency out, I'm going to bring 3. I'm going to bring 2 CO2 cartridges and a travel pump, 1 actuator for the CO2 cartridge, and then a set of tire levers. I'm taking the Defy out today. It's got a brand new chain on it, but I got to switch the pedals over from the Envy so I can get some power on my bike. So most likely I'm not going to need all 3 of these, but I'm going to throw them in my jersey pocket so I have a little bit of variety, and if I get 2 out of 3 of them in, I think I'll be good with the lunch that I had and a 4 or 5 hour ride. So for a longer ride, I will pack my 2 larger bottles, the Camelback ice, which is, I think it'll fit like 22 ounces or something like that of liquid. So I'll fill it with a Powerade, Gatorade, water, electrolyte drink of my choice. If it's a hot day, I'll put some ice in there so that the ice and the liquid can kind of equalize in terms of temperature, keeps it colder a little bit longer. And on a hot day, it's pretty likely that I'll find some kind of gas station or rest stop to kind of top up the beverages. On a cooler day like today, unfortunately I don't drink as much, but I do have the larger bottles, so
2 bottles will probably do it, but I do have plenty of outs in case I need to stop and grab some more drink. So for a longer ride, I guess the weight of the bike takes a bit of a backseat to your ability to kind of continue your ride through any kind of circumstance and not have to stop. I personally don't like taking a whole lot of stops. I don't like to get off the bike for more than a minute or two to address something, unless you're on like a coffee ride or something like that. But all the emergency gear plus the drinks on the bike and whatever other accoutrements you want to bring with you, this bike is probably about 6 pounds heavier than it normally is. But I'm going to get myself dressed and I'm going to get out the door. Wind is absolutely outrageous here. I've tucked in behind a building right now, but I've been fighting it for about an hour. So I'm gonna bail out of my planned route here. It's really windy and you can see that body of water is still pretty frozen, so the temperature of the air coming off of that river and canal is well sub-freezing, and I'm not dressed for that. So I'm gonna head back inland and see if I can do some cruising around over there. Best laid plans, but you gotta come up while you're ahead, I guess.
Come now.
Alright, I did about half of what I really wanted to do today, about a little under 2.5 hours. The wind is just, it's getting to the point where it's just not safe. Traffic on the road, or even climbing, getting out of the saddle, you're unstable. 23 miles an hour is nothing to joke about, as I try to shield the camera here from the wind. And there's no leaves on the trees, so there's nothing to even cut that down. So I still enjoyed being outside. It was well worth it. And I am determined to make use of this nice day, so I think I'm going to go and I'm going to take this filthy ass thing and clean it. Brand new top of the line KMC chain, rides like butter. I turned around at a good time, at least, right where I was downtown Buffalo. When I started to double back, I saw the police. They were starting to shut down some of the roads, direct traffic for, I think, a Sabres game in the area, which gridlocks the city really badly and it's going to make it really hard for a bike to maneuver around because there's not a ton of riding lanes and sidewalks in that area for me to try to sneak around the cars. So I guess And on the upside of things, I didn't get myself trapped in the city of Buffalo. Alright, time to get out of this garb and get some shit done. Well, the line for the car wash is 15 cars deep, so I'm not waiting for that shit. So I ended up driving down the street, finding another car wash. They actually just installed these 3 new automated ones, and no sooner do I pull up into this lot, the C's part, and here I am in the car wash. I know, excited, but at least I didn't have to wait in line for 20 minutes. First nice day in several weeks, and everybody's out to get their car wash. I just passed a gas station with a car wash in it, and there were like 13 cars around the corner. Guess I just got lucky. Intelligent people learn from their mistakes. We're buying tickets right now for a movie that starts in about an hour and 45 minutes, so we don't get locked out of having seats again. So we're probably going to go to the mall and kill some time, which will very likely include a trip to Best Buy, because I can't go more than 7 days without oogling electronic devices that I don't need. And that's it. Oh, and we had dinner at Spot Coffee, and it was good. Good times. Well, we just got home from an impromptu session at the movies, from seeing what I think might be the most screwed up movie I've ever seen in my life. I'm not a terribly squeamish person. I've seen plenty of graphic films, TV shows, weird things. It takes a lot to startle me. But this movie just, I don't know. It reached a whole new level of bizarre and kind of gross. I don't know if I could really recommend the movie. I wouldn't necessarily give it a bad review. It's just messed up, and it's not at all what you would expect when you watch the previews. And I probably won't watch it again. But it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning because we saw a late showing, and I'm exhausted from getting beat up by some of those Buffalo wins today. But I'm going to go to bed and hopefully not have horrible dreams about weirdly graphic material. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. Catch you in the next one.